It's so quiet, isn't it?
It is. It's very quiet. But what is going on, Steven Nation? Welcome back to another live stream. Today, joining me is Shamoon from Shamoon Reacts. How you doing, bro? Hey, I have his links in the description box, so if you want to check out his YouTube channel, his Instagram, and his Twitter, feel free to do so. They're all linked down there. But we're gonna wait for some people to get in. Yeah, we don't have Chris or Trevor today, like Max is asking.
Max is definitely our regular.
Yeah, definitely a regular. We have Ginger Cat, who was in my stream from Friday. So what's going on? Tommy.
I've seen his videos, not bad.
Yeah. Tommy Percival Reviews. What's going on, dude? Welcome to the stream.
What's going on, Tommy?
This is a Q&A, so feel free to ask anything you want. We've got 3 viewers, so make sure to join in. I apologize for starting late. I was running a bit against the clock today, like I did Friday too. But we made it, like 18 minutes late, but we made it. So just make sure to ask your questions, and we will get to them. Chris sent me a bunch of them, so we can get to those first. I'm not sure when he'll join.
Someone just said hello.
Oh yeah, what's up, Jake? How you doing, bro? Welcome to the stream. Okay, let's see. He's got 3 questions. So, we'll ask this first. JK, when did Tenet get delayed? I think it was on Friday, right?
Yeah, it was. It's got delayed till 31st of July, I believe. So
yeah, it's only 2 weeks. Yeah,
and they've actually, instead of putting no film in that 17th July slot, they've actually put Inception. So yeah. I think it's smart. Like if they, if people are going back to cinema, they'll be able to see that, which would be great. So I never saw it in the cinema.
Yeah, I didn't either. Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely need to go back if it's
definitely
yeah. Yeah, I'm just hoping like it doesn't get delayed anymore because this film's huge. Like,
yeah, it's my most anticipated easily.
And we just want to get back to watching movies and the actual cinema. I'm missing it.
Yeah, cinemas are starting to reopen.
That's good.
At least they are in the US. Have they said anything in the UK?
Well, my cinema, there's been nothing about it. The one I work at, nothing about it opening at the moment. No updates. Right. I think it just comes down to what the government's saying, really. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's how the US have been going about it as well.
Yeah.
But I think they will just act accordingly. Once we get told, oh, lockdown's going to be eased or something, I think then we might have some open. I think 4th of July is still the aim to reopen like most of them.
Right.
But like it's going to be like very limited and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. I think they're saying mostly in the US, they're saying 25% capacity. For near around me, what they're saying is they'll allow 50%, which is interesting because where I'm at, I don't think it was that big of a deal. So I'm still take precautions, but they are saying 50%. So I think Inception, it's weird because I'm kind of glad they delayed it because I like that I get to see Inception now, and then I have a little bit more time to wait for Tenet. Even though I want to see it as soon as possible, I kind of like that I have to wait a little bit more for it. This way I can get to see Inception in theaters. And I can make that part of my, because what I'm doing is I'm going through all the Nolan films, and I had a specific order that I was going to rewatch them in, but I'll just change that around a little bit so that I can go see Inception in theaters, which will be awesome. So I'm so excited. Yeah. We do have some.
Max said, what's my all-time favorite film?
What is your favorite all-time film?
This is a good question because I don't think anyone's actually asked me this, just generally in my other Q&A videos. I think someone's like, oh, what are your favorite films? But all-time favorite, it's really difficult because I've got a good list, but I still think Endgame, man. I just think that blew my expectations.
Really?
And I know it's a shocker because I answer that so easily, but I think the experience I had with it in cinema, it's like the build-up, the way I saw it. I would have put Infinity War if I didn't see Endgame in cinema, but premiere night, when you see a film on premiere night, magnitude, it really does make things very different and in such a great way. So that's the thing. I think I have to put Endgame. It's just the experience you get from the film. you've got to consider like how rewatchable it is as well. But of course, Endgame's very rewatchable. So
Yeah, that's how Trevor grades his films based on rewatchability. So yeah, that makes sense.
yeah, it's important. Like you can't watch a film once and say it's your favorite, and then we'll not watch it again. Like
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I think it used to be Endgame for me when it came out. I've changed it since then, and I've made it like a bit of like a mystery on the channel. Like nobody knows what it is. And I'll just do I'm planning on making a top 50 video after Tenet releases.
Oh, that'd be good. That'd be good.
Yeah, and it's gonna be like what I've been thinking so far is splitting it into 3 parts. So I do numbers 50 through, I think, what did I decide? 15 through 31, and then 30 through 16, and 15 through number 1. That's
a good idea.
3 parts. Yeah,
splitting it into 3 or 4 parts even is like good because like you don't want to make it too long, obviously. But then
exactly, yeah.
That last video, everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, top 10, we're getting there." Like,
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking about doing. So nobody knows what mine is, but yeah, I don't think I ever asked you what your favorite film was. That's good to know. Let's see, Tommy. I've been doing YT. Yeah, I've noticed you don't post anymore. I'm curious as to what the reason was. I think it was because of the Kappa thing. I can't exactly remember. So let me know what the reason was. Because it'd be awesome to make a comeback. Movie Files. Elliot, what's going on, dude? Welcome to the stream. With Inception taking Tenet's original movie date and having additional scenes. Oh, actually, I did not know that. Does the rumor of Tenet being a sequel seem more like a reality? What are your thoughts on this? Because I think I have an answer. But what do you think about that?
I'm not too sure, actually. Or if it has, or I like the idea of Inception having like additional scenes, if that's the case.
Yeah. I'm down for that.
And if Tenet is a sequel, that would be quite cool because, like, you know, I haven't watched. I mean, I still need to watch Inception.
That's
crazy. I remember I was told, like, me and you, we were like, yeah, we have to watch these films, and some films we probably still haven't watched, but like, I've been watching so much other stuff, but like, yeah, it would be cool to have like if not a sequel, maybe like it's all connected, so there's like references, you know, like how the universe thing, the universal thing about it, like building
kind of like Glass and Unbreakable.
Yeah. That would work quite nicely, like how they integrate it and they make a bigger film out of it. Like, that would be cool. Yeah.
What I think is, like, I hadn't heard about the additional scene stuff, so that sounds awesome. I'm down for more footage. I've been saying for a while that a small part of me, it's very unlikely, but I've been saying for a while, a small part of me thinks this is secretly connected. What I've noticed is that every like 10 years, Nolan releases like a kind of weird film. Like 2000, he released Memento. 10 years later in July, he released Inception. And now 10 years later in July, it's Tenet. So what I've noticed is these like weird, like reality bending concepts have always been every 10 years. So I don't know what that has to do with anything. That's just something I noticed. But
that's a really good like eye for detail though, because like it's sort of like a what we call a new decade sort of thing. Like Inception really was a film, even though it was out 10 years ago. It's still so popular now.
Yeah,
and like it might be that next film in 2020. So we'll see. Like, I like that theory though. It's very like it makes a lot of sense, and I can definitely see that happening if it's the case.
What do you think would happen that would suggest that it's connected? Like, what would you like to see? I think like a DiCaprio cameo. I think that would be.
I think like maybe how they sort of do it. You know, like at the end of some Marvel films, they have like a little post-credit scene cameo. I think that'd be the nice way to not like distract it from the actual film, but you know, just a nice way to integrate it slowly, and then they come like collide together in another film, which would be quite cool. Something small, not like too big, but
I think like keeping it small, but like making it obvious. I think if like one of the characters, like towards the end, or maybe in a post-credit scene or something, they pull out the top that was spinning at the end. I think that's like a subtle way of doing it, but like a wink, you know. I think that would work. But I don't think it makes it more likely that it's a sequel or connected. I'm just super hyped to see Inception again. Ginger Cat 59. Glad you've seen my videos, Shamoon. Yeah, I've been watching your videos too. Can't remember. I think that was the Artemis Fowl review was the last one that I watched. Good stuff, man. Jake A. Does Shamoon have Letterboxd? Do you have Letterboxd?
I actually don't. I mean, I've seen Chris and a few of you guys like post your Letterboxd reviews on your story. I mean, what is it like a place where you just kind of review a film, or sort of like Rotten Tomatoes? Like, what is it?
It's it's basically like an app all about film. So you can do like multiple things. You can either say that you watched the film and like not say anything about it. You can say you watched the film and you liked it by giving it a heart, or you didn't like it. You can give it a specific amount of stars. And then you can also like specify your thoughts, and I think you can write forever. I don't know. You can like link other stuff that you have in your reviews. You can add stuff to your watch list. You can make rankings, like lists and stuff. They can be rankings.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Or you can just be like, if I have like a certain, well, I don't know how I would do it, but like if there's like a list. Which is just films. Like I have a list of all the films that I've ever given 3 thumbs up to, which is like my highest, like my rare grade that I never really give out all that much. Yeah. I wouldn't really rank those films, but I would still like try to group them together. So I have a list of that. It's not ranked, but I have a list of that. But then I have other stuff, ranking videos that I've never made, but then I still have the ranked list, and it goes from 1 through whatever. Yeah. So it's just all about film. And you can do a bunch of stuff. You can add stuff to your watch list. If there's movies you haven't watched, you can add stuff to your watch list. You can follow other people. Obviously, you can see what's in their watch list, what list they've made. It's like basically like kind of like Instagram, but just all about film, pretty much.
Well, that's pretty good. I definitely have to download that in a bit then, because I've seen it a little bit, but like I never was. I knew it was something to do with film, because I know you boys were always posting about it. So I knew it was something cool, but never really knew what it was. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna check that out, because that sounds great.
Yeah, definitely get on there. And Letterboxd, sponsor me. I just described your product. I'm just kidding. Ginger Cat, what's your favorite Spider-Man movie, guys? What's your favorite Spider-Man movie?
Did we not get asked this before in the stream? Like,
I've been asked this question. I've been asked this question multiple times.
Well, no, of course you, Spidey boy.
Yeah, exactly.
I think my favorite. See, I like MCU Spidey, and I like Garfield Spidey, and I like Tobey Maguire's. I mean, I don't really have like a favorite. I think it's more of like a list, but
right.
I mean, I'm willing to go through a list like with you for a video, because we did say about it.
Yeah, so, like a tier ranking. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so you guys will probably find out like what the true favorite is, but it is really difficult. I mean, they all have their own ways. I think I'll make my decision for that video, so it might make it more interesting.
Okay. I'm interested now to see what your favorite is. For me, it's easily no competition. It's Spider-Man 2 for me. It used to be Spider-Man, but I don't know. Spider-Man 2 is just it's just in its own way.
I feel like it gets too much hate. Like, some of the boys roast you for it, don't they? They're like, "Oh, Spider-Man 2 is like not the best one out of."
Yeah, like some people say, like I do agree. 1 is like more enjoyable and more fun. 2 is just like it does everything perfectly. Like it's just everything about it is perfect.
It's quite good development for a character, and I quite like how it built up. Like I didn't really see any like problems with it. I mean, if people feel like there's a underlying issue with maybe the way it's made, or I don't know specifically what the reasons are, but like it's like lingering things, and I can understand that ruining your experience. But I think some people just want to find a reason to hate,
Yeah,
I think it's not that bad as people say.
Yeah, no, and I think like I'm not like no disrespect towards Trevor or anything, but like he has issues with it. Like he says, the losing the powers thing doesn't work, and I don't have like I'm okay with that. Like you're allowed to dislike what you're like whatever you want, but like for me, that's never been a problem. Like that never bothered me. Like it's just things like I'm okay if people have issues with it. Like I'm a huge defender of like all 3 movies, so I am biased, but it's just. For me, it just everything about them works. Like Spider-Man 2, they're all great movies. Sam Raimi treated them as films. He had character development. He had these underlying messages that still ring true today. It's a perfect trilogy. That's my favorite trilogy of all time. I don't know about you, but that's my favorite trilogy of all time. If anybody doesn't know, so I am biased, but Spider-Man 2 is my favorite. Max talks movies. If you could only take one director's filmography to a desert island, what director would it be? What would that be for you? That's a good question.
Going to one director filmography. Interesting. You know what? If you got to think about directors that really think about are they more about visuals, or are they more about the messages and the way they shoot things? Like, what is their purpose? You have to go with someone that's really keen on their visuals. So, I mean, I might take Todd Phillips on this, take a gamble, because the way he shot Joker and the way he made the way he shot the scenery and the way he brought these colors to life and to convey a certain thing and add to the themes, like I quite like that, and I think he would do quite nicely in that way.
And he has The Hangover, so
Hangover too, which actually I watched the Hangover over the last 2 days, so I've completed the trilogy, and it's like you can see like the way he's very he's about his visuals, which I like, about his adventure, about the scenery. I think he's got that mindset to take to a desert, and he can still make it better than just it being a desert, you know. Whereas Michael Bay would somehow something would explode in the desert, and someone would be like, "Where did that come from?" Like,
I got you. Yeah. I think Todd Phillips is a good choice. I'd go maybe. It's like maybe Tarantino, even though I haven't seen all his films. Maybe Tarantino. He has
like picking Tarantino.
Yeah, he has like easily they're long, but they're like easily digestible. They're not connected. Nolan is a bit more prestigious, even though he's my favorite director. He's a bit more prestigious, and I don't know. I can see myself like not always being highly entertained by his movies if I like only have his filmography to work with. Maybe I'd go Russo Bros because they have those 4 amazing MCU movies, even though they are
great. I think it'd be them, Todd Phillips, or it's got to be one of those guys, 100%.
I'd go Tarantino, Russo Bros because I love Winter Soldier. It's amazing. Civil War, I absolutely love too. Infinity War, I'm not as big on as much people, but I still like it's in like near my top 5 and everything. So I do love that one. Endgame, favorite MCU movie, all that fun stuff.
Of course.
JK, I'm trying to catch up on 2020 released movies. Which do you suggest? What are some of your favorites of the year so far that you would recommend to JK?
Ooh. Do you know what? I actually have let me say these on. I actually kept all my receipts from like films I saw so far, and I just wanted to do is see how many films I see in a year. From what I've seen, I mean, The Gentleman was a great film. I mean, I don't know if that came out at the end of 2019 or the start of 2020. I think it was January.
It was January. It came out this year.
I mean, if you haven't seen The Gentleman, Guy Ritchie, I believe, directed that.
Guy Ritchie, yes.
Oh my god, it's just like it's a classic. Straight away, it's a classic. Like if you like your typical Guy Ritchie style film and the twists and the way they go back and forth with the timeline, like it's quite interesting how they.
It is funny too. It's very funny.
Yeah, it is. He's really good at implementing humor naturally without it being forced. Like he can make a really espionage film, not funny like Johnny English, but like make it more natural instead of it focusing on humor, which is one thing I love about Guy Ritchie films. If you haven't seen Sonic either, I mean, I
like Sonic quite a bit. I did.
I think Sonic, if you really like, of course, if you're like fan of Sonic, Nintendo fan, all that kind of stuff, and you haven't seen it, I'll see it. Like, I think it was very underrated personally. Like, I think people were saying it's too childlike and stuff, but then again, like Sonic
is a children's film, pretty much.
Exactly, so I mean, the people that were complaining about it were people like in their 20s. It's like you played Sonic when you were a kid, so it's not really an excuse, is it?
I got you. I understand.
But, I mean, those are films I definitely recommend. I did see Birds of Prey, but like, I'm
not great.
On that.
Yeah, mm-hmm.
I'm not too sure if it was really convinced. It's like an average film at best. But
I haven't seen it, so I can't comment. But I am planning on watching that eventually. JK, I think the best of the year so far. You got to check out Bloodshot, Doolittle, Artemis Fowl. Maybe check out Timmy Failure. These are some like instant like masterpieces of their time. And I hope you know I am not serious about that. These movies are awful. Okay, the actual good movies. Onward's my favorite of the year so far. I don't know if you've seen that. So
I just need to check that out. Like,
oh, you haven't seen it?
No, I mean, I really like the idea of the relationship with the brothers because, like, I mean, I have a brother, so I just really want to see how they presented that.
Yeah, that relationship just works so well. Onward's a great one. Extraction, I was much more like inclined to
forget Extraction.
Some people were like just straight up destroying that film. I was like, I don't know about this, guys. I think this is like amazing. Like, I like this. I think Extraction is better than the first John Wick. In my opinion, and that's a tough call, but I think it is.
What the first film I compared it to was John Wick as well. I will tell you why I think though it's not better than John Wick 1. I think this film it really lacks the story compared to John Wick. Like, you really understand what John Wick goes through before he even does what he does. And before it gets into the really good stuff, and they do that really well throughout the film, and they paced it well. I liked how they wrote it, and like when you compare it to Extraction just like let's get straight in and get straight out. It's just it's in the name. Like I feel
the movie is an Extraction.
It is literally like that's what's funny. But I'm not slating that film or saying it's not like John Wick, but in terms of action, it is on the same level. I mean. Close combat. Sam Hargrave did a great job, and he was a stunt double on Marvel films, so he's got really good eye for the angle, and it was a great film. Just like to see a bit more story and a bit more depth for Chris Hemsworth's character.
Yeah, that's what I've been hearing. So Extraction, that's personally because I thought I just loved Extraction, and I think the first John Wick isn't as good as everybody says. That's an unpopular opinion I have. I think the second one is incredible. I don't think Extraction is better than the second John Wick.
The second one definitely outdid the first one. Like
I see people say that's their least favorite, and I'm like, I don't know. That's my favorite so far. I think John Wick 2 is my favorite. So
you know what? John Wick 3 was great as well, but John Wick 2 just had this thing about it. Like
it was so like tightly paced, and it just flowed really well.
Yeah,
I loved the second one. So that's like me being unpopular when I say Extraction is very good.
It's quite an interesting perspective though, because I haven't really heard anyone kind of say it's better than John Wick. I think people say the same thing I've said, but no one said like it's better than the first film. So that's interesting.
And then one more, I throw in The Invisible Man that I just Chris from Filmstock, he just watched that for the first time I think last week. He really liked it. Everybody's been seeming to love it. Have you seen that Invisible Man?
I need to check it out.
It's pretty good
about it, but try not to get any spoilers when I was reading stuff. From what I sound like, I'm normally not into that genre, but I will definitely check it out if it's a good film, because from what I've heard and Chris saying it and you guys,
it's so good. Elizabeth Moss, probably front runner for Best Actress right now. It's really good. It's got a great story. It's not as scary as I would have liked, but I can overlook that. It's really suspenseful. It's great. So those are 3 or 6, if you include
If
Shamoon.
the film's less about like the scary stuff, then I might be more into that then, because I actually like the horror films that are more about the story, because like that in itself can scare you rather than let's jump scare and just
I hate jump scares. It's
more about the message rather than the visuals. Like that's why some films I just find, like I watched The Nun with a few mates like last year, and like I mean they were laughing at the scenes. I was like, I would never laugh at this usually, but because of the way they reacted to it, I was like, I can't take this seriously. And that was just more like every time she pops up, she's just trying to scare you. But still good film.
I haven't seen The Nun. Should I watch it?
Oh, you should definitely. Like, you might find it funny now because of how I've been describing it. But like,
Sounds interesting.
It's interesting if you'll know
That's
what I
part of
mean.
that's part of the Conjuring universe, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
It's definitely it is part of all of that. So if you are into that already, then you gotta definitely watch that.
Okay. Max talks movies. Certain. Can you tell us if your number one all time is a Spider-Man film? Yeah, I can tell you
Oh,
that it's not. I'll tell you that. So
oh,
that's
oh.
like, yeah. I mean, I know it's surprising. My third favorite film of all time is a Spider-Man film. So I don't know what that says.
If you said
But
Spider-Man Far From Home, I would love.
no, it's not.
I
But
would laugh. I would literally be like, "Whoa, it's like everyone dirty."
I've been trolling this entire time. No, it's not. My favorite of all time is not a Spider-Man movie. It is. That's all I'm going to say because I don't want to give anything away. JK. So far, my favorite 2020 movie has been The Gentleman. It was another awesome Guy Ritchie film that went back to his roots of Lock, Stock, and Snatch. Yeah, I really like The Gentleman. I don't think I've seen all of Guy Ritchie's movies, but
Snatch is a really great film. I think it came out like 2000 or something, so it's quite old now. But great film regardless.
Yeah. Yeah, The Gentleman, though, it's probably, I can't remember. I just looked at it. I think it's like my number 5 of the year so far, maybe number 6. I think it's 5. And I've seen 14 films this year. Well, yeah, I think I'd put it above. Yeah. So out of the 14 I've seen, new releases, Gentleman's in the top 5. So I really like it. Tommy P, you just stopped by for a little bit, but you're back again. Max talks movies. LOL, I just rewatched Inception a couple weeks ago. I'll probably still try and see it again in cinemas, though. Yeah, that's what I was planning on doing. I was planning on rewatching it because I have the Blu-ray, but I'll just like not rewatch it on the Blu-ray and I'll just go to the theater instead.
Way better experience.
Way better experience, especially because of the visuals. It's gonna be amazing. I'm so hyped. I think I just lost all these. I lost track. Where is it at? Okay. Yeah, we have a lot. It was just like the bar was like all the way down here, and then I scrolled down, and then I scrolled back up. It's like all the way up here. I'm like, why didn't you tell me this? Okay.
I was like saying to you, yeah, we're gonna get through this nicely, just us two, and then we still got so many questions.
It's because we have like a lot of viewers this time.
So that's good. That's good.
Yeah. Where are we at? Tommy P. I've wanted to watch Inception for years, but never got around to it. That is a must watch. That is a must watch.
It's the same thing with me. Like just always hearing about it and never getting around to seeing it.
Yeah, it's so unique. It's one of the most unique films probably ever. And Christopher Nolan, my favorite director. That used to be my favorite film for a while too. Last year. So it was.
Wow.
It went Endgame, then it went Dark Knight, then it went Inception, and then I just kind of like I was just like, you know what? I'm not picking a favorite film. Nobody picks their favorite film. I'm not picking. But then I saw my favorite film for the first time, and I was like, you know what? I think this is my favorite film. I'm gonna do favorites. And then I saw everybody else, and they were like, oh, this is my favorite film. This is my favorite film. Josh saying The Last Jedi. I'm like, okay, maybe everybody does pick their favorite film. Okay, this is mine.
Jedi, jeez.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, I'll pick a favorite. But no, Inception is definitely a must watch. Definitely watch it. At least before Tenet, watch it. It's re-releasing. So thoughts on Dark Knight. I watched it again the other day, and it's still my all-time favorite. It's just so amazing, and I can't get enough of it. Dark Knight is in my top 50 for sure.
It's a great film, yeah.
Yeah, it's just incredible. I think that is the best comic book movie of all time. So I'd say it's above Endgame. Endgame's my number 2, so it's like very like neck and neck. But
I just find it hard to it's like my friend said this as well. I find it hard to I mean, you can compare elements of it. I find it hard to say it's better than an ensemble. Like my friend was saying, it's better than the Avengers, and there's so many things going on in that film, and it's like you can make a singular film more straight up, and okay, it's just about Batman. Then you got Justice League, or it's Batman, and there's loads of other things. Like there's obviously more to go wrong. And I think it's impressive if you can, carry all those characters and yet still make a fantastic film. And like, there's so much more risks with that, of course. And and with a singular film as well, it can go wrong. But like, mean, like Dark Knight, Winter Soldier, these films are singulars, and
Yeah,
arguably,
they're like very congested in like their own part of the universe. So,
exactly.
and then you have like something like Endgame. It's like the entire universe all at once.
Yeah. So,
So
I mean, it's fair if people want to like compare elements about it. I just find it hard to say it's better than Endgame. Like, if you were saying the story was better, then in terms of like, oh, the way it was structured, yeah, I understand that. But like, when someone's like, oh, like some of the fight scenes are better than Endgame, I'm like, what are you saying? Like, you think Captain wielding Mjolnir and like all the great moments in that film have just gone in the bin because of scenes from the film? It's like, what? It's just that's me, but like we're always going to compare films, but I think it's hard to compare ensembles with like solo films.
That's a fair point. I just think the Dark Knight just works so well for me, and I promise I'm not. It's because I'm biased towards Christopher Nolan. It's not because of that. It's because just it's just because it's just everything about it is just so like it's like so many different genres mixing together, and they all blend really well. And it's just the Dark Knight is absolutely amazing. If you're saying thoughts on Dark Knight, I think it's incredible, and I think you think so too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Max talks movies. Biggest comic book movie you've ever seen. Biggest. So like
that's gonna really hurt my head this one.
I wonder what it could be. Maybe Catwoman. I don't know. No,
I don't ever actually watched that. I don't think. I mean, I remember seeing Catwoman in the Dark Knight, but I didn't see her in her own film, and I think it wasn't her. Was it Halle Berry that was playing at the time?
It was.
Yeah, and apparently it was awful. Like I never planned on seeing it. But yeah, I mean, damn, I remember reading something about it, and it's like I'm not even going to touch that.
Yeah.
I mean, I might just sit through it just to see how bad it is, but I don't want to torture myself,
I haven't seen it since like maybe it's like a 2003 film, right? I don't think I've seen it since like 2007. So yeah, that's
I think that's it. Like
I don't want to sit through it again. But biggest I'd say if you mean like in terms of like ensemble or just like biggest in general, it's obviously Endgame. If you mean like best, I'd go Dark Knight, but that's best. That's not because I can't see how you would like confuse biggest with best or how that would become like a typo.
Is this film? Wait, is this question like the film you've never seen, like as in the cinema, or is it just generally?
I'm dumb. It says you've never seen, so that just completely contradicts what I just said. Biggest comic book film you've never seen? I think it's maybe Wonder Woman because I've never seen that. So
that's great. It's on Netflix, so like you can.
It is really.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it Netflix because it's in the UK? Because that might be a reason.
I mean, I hope. Yeah. I mean, of course, I'm in the UK. Like, it's on there, and Justice League. So, I mean, you might not have it. But I'm hoping.
I don't think I have it.
Mad. Yeah, I mean, in the US version, like what?
Yeah. What's the biggest comic book film you've never seen?
Well, I might say Catwoman because I don't think I ever.
You've never seen it?
I don't think I have. No, I just remember
it's not very big though.
It's not. Yeah,
I think maybe. Have you seen?
I haven't really seen. I mean, I've seen all the Spider-Man films.
Yeah.
Every single one. Of course, all the Marvel stuff, even before the MCU. Seen all the Batmans. I've watched all of them. Not as much as Marvel, of course. But
have you seen all the Superman movies?
I remember watching like the original one, Christopher Reeve and Henry Cavill and stuff. But like I haven't watched that a lot. It's definitely one film. I'm just trying to remember what it is. I don't think it's Marvel DC. I think it's like one of those like Bloodshot. It's like outside of it.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. I'm actually not sure.
TBD. The answer is TBD, to be determined.
Yeah, that's the one.
At a further date. Nerdy Films, what's up, dude? How you doing?
What's up, Nerdy?
JK, I'm watching Inception tonight and then Dark Knight Rises tomorrow, and so on with the rest of Nolan's movies. That's a good order, but my initial order was going to be watch Following, which I already did, then watch Insomnia, then then the three Dark Knights, or the three Batmans, then watch. No. It was going to be following Insomnia, Dunkirk, then the three Batmans, then Memento, then Interstellar, then.
I just see Interstellar.
Yeah, I haven't seen Interstellar either. I need to watch that. I'm missing one. I can't remember what I'm missing. Oh, The Prestige. Prestige, Interstellar, Inception, something like that. But my order is probably going to change now because of Inception re-releasing July 17th. So I'll figure something out. But that's a good order. Jake A. Yeah, Shamoon should get Letterboxd. It's awesome. Yeah, you're planning on getting it, right?
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah. JK, have any of you seen the new Netflix film, The Five Bloods? If so, what are your thoughts? Because I started it and it's not bad.
No, I need to see that. I put it in my watch list and stuff. I just need to watch it. But I liked the trailer, and it was. What's your thoughts? Because I think you said you saw it, right?
I've seen it. I saw it yesterday. I need to upload my review today. I've already filmed it. I just need to finish editing and upload it. I'll give you like quick thoughts. So those of you watching this stream, this is like exclusive right here. But I liked it. I quite liked it. I had my issues with it, but I liked it. I quite did. I very much did. Very well made film. I have my issues with it, but I have my issues with every film. So, it's whatever. Nerdy films. Would you rather see a live action Spider-Verse or Spider-Man 4 with Tobey Maguire? That's pretty easy for me. What about you?
I think based on how Spider-Man's gone, how it's happened, I think Spider-Verse, live action Spider-Verse, because we could still see Tobey Maguire in that. With the whole multiverse thing. So, I mean, it just doesn't make sense to have Spider-Man 4 right now, and it's just. I'd love to see it. I just don't think it just wouldn't feel right. And you got to think about the Spider-Verse and how they're introducing a bigger scale of things with that, and how they'll integrate MCU Spider-Man into that as well.
Yeah, it's easy for me. I'd go Spider-Verse because as much as I would like to see a Spider-Man 4, the thing with Spider-Verse is you get Tobey in there, but then you also have, in my opinion, the best Spider-Man we've gotten so far, Andrew Garfield. You have him come back too. Like, in terms of live action, I still think overall the best representation of Spider-Man we've ever gotten is Spectacular. But you get Andrew Garfield back in there too. You get Tobey Maguire. You get Tom Holland. Because I don't hold anything against Tom Holland. Even though I don't necessarily dislike, but I don't prefer the MCU films. I don't hold anything against Tom Holland because, it's not like he's writing everything on the spot saying, I want to do this, I want to do that, It's obviously what he's been given. So I think you have Tom Holland, who's the new face of Spider-Man pretty much. You get Tobey Maguire back, and then you get Andrew back. That's my dream come true right there. I've been saying that for a couple of months. That is, I don't know what I would want more out of film once we get that, I don't know what more I could possibly want. So, it's pretty easy for me. I'd go live action Spider-Verse. That's pretty easy. Max, what don't you like about the MCU Spider-Man movies? I've been waiting for you to answer this question. No, I think the biggest, I won't go all deep dive into it, but the biggest thing that really bothers me, especially, it's more so Homecoming than Far From Home in this situation, but there's stuff that's in Far From Home that I think Homecoming does better. But in this specific situation, I think it's the lack of not responsibility. I think it's the lack of consequences. Whatever he does, there should be repercussions for it. Whenever something happens, even Homecoming plays this off as a joke. Peter quits the decathlon team, and then he just strolls back up, and Flash is like, you can't just be welcomed back by everyone. And then they make a joke out of it because the teacher comes out and he's like, oh, welcome back, Peter. Flash, you're back to first alternate. Even though they play that off as comedy, it's still a lot of stuff in the movie is like that, So Peter ditches the team and he doesn't even get expelled. He just nothing. I think he gets detention, or he ditches detention too. He gets detention too. And then he says the bank, this is a positive. I've heard people say this is a good thing about the film, that nobody dies, because everybody has to die in an MCU movie, but in this movie, nobody dies. I see that as a negative because, that eliminates all the stakes. You destroy the deli grocery, Mr. Delmar. Okay, sure, save Mr. Delmar, but not save him. He's great. I like him. You save Mr. Delmar, but you still save the cat. You don't even kill off the cat. So, there's no stakes. It doesn't feel Spider-Man movies, I'm okay with them going with like the comedy route, but there's supposed to be drama. If like all the stories that I've read, they're all dramas at their core aspect. There are dramas at their center.
That's why I think the Tobey Maguire films were like better in that way. There's because he's a more mature version of Spider-Man. Thing with Tom Holland, the way they brought about his Spider-Man is more of like appealing to a younger audience, and what they're teaching is like in a certain way, like Spider-Man's morality is like I think the MCU versions is like similar, but like you can see he's not getting as much as you said consequences, and whereas like if it was Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, he's like, oh my god, no, this is like I'm gonna lose. Like look how he's always worrying about MJ could be in danger, Aunt May, and then what happened to Uncle Ben. I know they don't want to repeat that whole ideology of like and the whole concepts of the Remy stuff, and
but you don't just ignore it, you know.
Yeah, I think it's trying to be different, which I totally get, but at the same time, like I think they're trying to show like even if you're young, like you make mistakes, but you can get lucky. So there's like a lucky feel to the film. Like despite what he does, he still gets lucky. Like look how Tony said, you should have done better. If you're nothing with the suit, then you shouldn't have it. And like that's the sort of big consequence for him.
That's the defining moment of that film. And that's the part that really works, because after that point, it becomes good. It becomes a good Spider-Man film. It really does. But then those first two acts, obviously. So I think you bring up a great point with the Raimi films. Everything went wrong for him. Like nothing worked out in the end for him, because there's a big part of Spider-Man, which is that he has to balance these two lives. And every time something good happens for Peter Parker, something bad happens for Spider-Man. Every time something good happens for Spider-Man, something bad has to happen for Peter Parker. So he can't win. He can never win in any situation. But with the MCU films, he's constantly winning. You know, he gets signed on by a billionaire superhero. He gets to meet all these famous Avengers. It's not that relatable. You know, I still think they try their best to kind of ground him in reality within the MCU, but it just doesn't feel like the previous two versions. And that's something that I also love about the Amazing movies. Even though, like,
they've taken away so much of the intensity of like the Rami stuff, and like they've sort of built up by the end of the film like how intense it is. Like the stuff with Vulture finding out, the girl he wants to date, her father is freaking his biggest enemy right now.
And that works so good.
I love that twist. I was like,
That's so good. I love that part.
I feel like they compensate in the MCU version by giving bigger stakes at a certain time, especially in the third act. And like, look how, I don't know I don't want to spoil anything for Far From Home, but like you will see more of that running theme of consequences in the next film, because after what happened to Tony, you can see how it's affected him. There's like a hole in him, and he's trying to find how he can manage without Tony, and like realize he's Spider-Man, he's not Iron Man, he's the Spidey boy that everyone loves. And he doesn't know everyone loves, but he's getting obviously more popular, like in Spider-Man 2 when he gets more popular, and in Spider-Man 3 the whole thing with Gwen, like the appreciation they have. I feel like because he
becomes his own villain in Spider-Man 3, basically.
Yeah, and like it's like the ego thing as well. Like I'm so good at what I do, but no one's going to stop me now. And
he becomes like a bit too like
because this journey where it's like if nothing can beat me, then I've got this like sort of outlook where I'm never going to lose. And what am I going to lose? Like I can protect everything I love, and if he's found a way of doing it, I can understand. But I think Spider-Man 3 that's coming up, there's going to be something very big that happens in that, and
hopefully
it could lead to like something else in the MCU, or it could connect to like the Spider-Verse stuff, which would be quite cool.
That'd be awesome. I think all of that, I agree with that. And I think just one final thing, because I want to move on, but I think they've been skipping over a lot of big stuff. Like they do something big at the end of Homecoming, which is Aunt May finds out, and then she's immediately cool with it, in Far From Home. So there's just that thing where they don't take time, like that big ending of Far From Home, which again, like you, I don't want to spoil it, but I'm pretty sure everybody knows it by now. But I really hope they don't just solve it off screen. That needs to be the big thing in Spider-Man 3.
I would hate that, because that's like, I mean, the Aunt May stuff. You're like, it's when you compare it to that, yeah, it's obviously smaller, but like they cannot just start the film where it's all good, because there's so much they need to fill, and that could set up the main plot for the next film, which I hope it does. Because I mean, with the way they ended at Homecoming, I was expecting they were gonna like just show a bit at the start of how Aunt May is, like, it's just literally how she's treating Peter now with the situation. But like you said, she's so chilled out about it. Like he goes to that little, I don't know what, that little place where they like Aunt May announces something and then Spidey comes along and they have this little like partnership thing, which is cool. But it's like Aunt May's like telling him, yeah, that's it. You remember in like when they're in that restaurant and like she says, if you see danger, you know what to do, run the other way. Like, it's like the danger he's in. Does she not understand? Like,
it doesn't add up. Like the whole big thing is that he doesn't want to let her know that he's putting himself in danger every night and that she has to worry about him, especially now after what happened to Ben. That's not what happened. She's not worrying about him. So what were you worried about? Why were you not telling her? So it just doesn't add up like the right way. The pieces don't fit. And so there's a lot of stuff I don't like about the movies, but that's just a little bit. I just wanted to go off on that. Max talks movies. I watched all 3 Dark Knight movies in one day. What's the most movies you've watched in a day? What are the most movies you've watched in a day?
I'd say, well, during lockdown, I've definitely made a record. I think there was a day where I watched about 4 or 5 films. I woke up quite early that day, and it was just a matter of wasn't actually planned. It was more like I was actually planning to watch a few films, and then it just sort of like I was actually not leaving the house that day. Instead of me having my routine where I'd go to the park or a bit of exercise, it was just bad weather, and I was like, all right, I'm just gonna watch some more films. I didn't game. Yeah, it was just one of those days you just want to binge a lot of films. I watched quite a few.
I think for me, it might be 3. The most I can remember is 2 from quarantine. I watched 2, not back to back, but I did watch them in the same day. There's been a point where I've probably watched 3, maybe 4, maybe it's the same movie like multiple times. But that's good. 3 Dark Knight movies in one day. That's like a good trilogy watch. Like
that's great.
Yeah. I'm gonna fly through some of these because we're quite lagging behind. JK, Colin Farrell in The Gentleman's Well Hilarious. I agree. He was so good in that movie. He was so funny. I love Colin Farrell. I'm so excited for him as Penguin. Max Talk movies. I'm gonna kill the suspense. Certain vids. Number 1, or my favorite number 1 film will be a 2-way tie between Murder on the Orient Express and Artemis Fowl. Dang it, Max! Why you gotta spoil it, man? Those are the 2 movies I hate the most. But no, it's not. It's not one of those 2. I'll just say that.
Definitely not.
You didn't kill any suspense. JK, 2020 films I've seen ranked. Number 1, The Gentleman. Number 2, Extraction. Hey, good on you, man. Number 3, Onward. 4, Birds of Prey. 5, Impractical Jokers. The movie. 6, Artemis Fowl. I agree with number 2, Extraction. I agree with Artemis Fowl at the bottom. I've yet to see Impractical Jokers, the movie, which is weird because I really like the show.
I didn't know that movie. Like, I love that show.
I really like that show too. So Onward I'd actually put above Gentleman, but that's a solid. That's 6 films. That's doing pretty good. How many films have you seen, Shamoon?
From
new releases.
Yeah, I think about 4.
Okay, 5. So you're doing better than our guest. So there you go. No, I'm just playing. Oopsie. Do you edit your own videos? Yes, I do. I do not have enough money to hire somebody. 59. What's your opinion on Tom Holland? Do you think he's overrated? I wouldn't call him overrated, but
I think he's just a bit different and appeals to a younger audience.
He appeals to a younger audience. He's the new Spider-Man, and he's the one that I guess the new face that they're trying to go with, pretty much.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call him overrated though, because they're not like calling him, oh my god, he's the best actor of our generation. I'm not calling him overrated, but I do think in the sense that everybody says he's the best Spider-Man, I do disagree. That's kind of where I'm at. Mega fan, nice to see you finally made a YouTube account. How's it going? I'm pretty good. How about you? John Marshall, when you talk about, welcome to the stream, by the way, when you talk about the story being more important to you when watching a horror movie, I think that's what you were saying, would you consider the It movies one of the better horror movies? Would you?
I actually haven't seen the It film, so I can't make that judgment yet. But once I watch that, then I can. I mean, I think they are very story driven, and they balance well with the horror. When I was saying that, I was like basically saying like I just don't want a film trying to scare the hell out of me every second. Like that's just typical and boring, right?
Right.
I like a very story driven plot with horror. If I've ever watched a horror, it's very story driven or like a thriller. That's pretty much a horror.
Right.
Just like Brightburn. I mean, there's some very gory scenes in that, but like that kind of scared you, but it wasn't like every second. It was like a build up and very shocking as well. So it was great.
Right. Simply Cinema, how's it going, man? Welcome to the stream, Josh. Tommy P Reviews, a 2020 movie would have to be a whole franchise. I think you're talking about what's nerdy film set, and would you want to see a movie about 2020? Yes, a 2020 movie would have to be a whole franchise.
About this. I would not be surprised. Like
one movie about World War III, one movie about Corona, one movie
about the virus, one about the protests, the bushfires. I mean, even Kobe. I mean, they could do so many. Yeah. Maybe just there's so many things they could do it. I'm just hoping there's not more to happen this year.
We're only halfway into the year.
Yeah, we're already halfway there, bro. Like we have 6 months.
Oh my god, Max Talks movies. Have either of you seen 2001? I have not. Have you seen it?
Nah, I've heard of it though, but
it's on my watch list. Have to watch it. Simply Cinema. I just watched Drive today. It's pretty good, but not nearly as good as Baby Driver. Obviously, both films carry a different styles, but which is your favorite? Do you disagree?
I think Drive. I don't think I watched Drive.
That's the one with Ryan Gosling. I'm pretty sure.
Oh no, I never got around. That's on my watch list as well. That's another film I need to.
I've never gotten around to that either.
Baby Driver is really good, and
I really like Baby Driver. I really like it. Simply Cinema. I'll probably watch Catwoman at some point just to watch all the DC films eventually. LOL. Yeah. I don't think you should.
I mean, I haven't yet, but I mean, if I have to, I'll have to.
Max Talks movies. Have you ever used a VPN to get foreign Netflix? I have not. Have you done that?
No, my mate's done it. But apparently the US version doesn't have as much as the UK, and I was like shocked. I was like, I thought the US one would be better than mine, but
I used to get I used to try to get like exclusive like PS Plus packages for like different countries. So I used to try to do that, but it never ended up working. It never ended up working. So I never exactly used a VPN to try to get foreign Netflix, but I did try to get foreign.
I didn't actually know that they do it based on region. I thought it was just all the same for every PlayStation user.
It is. It was like because like a lot of games have like exclusive stuff in the game that you can only get if you have PlayStation Plus. Yeah. But apparently different countries do different things. So I used to try to do that, but not the foreign Netflix thing. I never tried that. Simply Cinema. The one Nolan certain vids forgets is The Prestige. That's like me forgetting The Last Jedi. That is my favorite Nolan film, and I can't believe I overlooked that when I was going through all the ones. Jake A. Last Jedi sucks. LOL. Well, don't say that to Josh. That's his favorite film. Don't say that to Josh. No, I don't think it sucks. I do like it. I like it, honestly. Do you like it? I don't think I've ever heard your opinions on it.
I liked episode 7. I was hoping Last Jedi would be better, but I think out of all three, Rise of Skywalker was worse. But I agree. I actually wasn't a fan of Last Jedi. I mean, I was happy that Luke was in it, but it's just
definitely
a bit boring.
Nerdy films. If you could reboot any franchise, what would it be? The MCU. No. I don't.
Imagine. I would probably say like Transformers because
yes, that's a good one. They kind of did that with Bumblebee, sort of. So
yeah, I mean, I love the Transformers films. I think they do get a lot of hate though, but like all the die-hard Transformers fans from like the original G1 versions of the film and stuff, like they absolutely hate the Bayverse like really badly. I mean, I like it. I can see why. It's like imagine if MCU was just. I mean, we would love action, but we need story as well. Imagine if it was just action, like
if it was just like Thor: The Dark World every time.
Oh my god! Oh no,
Or no,
no!
Iron Man 2. That's a better example because it has
I
better
wish
action.
Michael Bay actually directed that because I reckon he would have still made that a better film.
No, I think I would reboot probably Transformers, or maybe I'm trying to think of a good one.
Here's a few.
Yeah, there's a. What would I reboot? Maybe Harry. No, not Harry Potter. I just get rid of the Fantastic Beasts movies because I don't like those.
That's
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah, I don't like them. I hate the first one. I haven't seen the second one.
Oh man.
Um.
Actually, I remember you saying this last time I was on.
Yeah, I
You
remember
were
that.
like Fantastic Beasts, no.
Not too hot. Maybe. Yeah, I'd probably go Transformers. I'm trying to think of more, but I'd have to really sit down and think about it. Ginger Cat, as High Top Film says, would say about Homecoming, everything's fine. I did see that video, and I do. Do you watch High Top Films? I watch them.
I don't think I've heard of High Top Films. I'm guessing he's another YouTuber though.
Yeah, he's a video essayist. He's known as like being like a huge Spider-Man fan, and he's very much biased towards the Raimi trilogy. Kind of like me, but no, yeah, it is. Everything's just fine. I do recommend that video. Max Talks Movies. Certain. I know you saw my tweet about how I'd incorporate the live-action Spider-Man in a Spider-Verse sequel. How would you have Tobey, Andrew, and Tom show up in a Spider-Verse film? I think the easiest way to do it would be Doctor Strange showing up.
Oh, it has to be. I don't think there's any other logical reason, like, for because I mean that film's going to explore the multiverse, and I mean Sam Raimi directing that is a cool little thing, and weird.
That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome.
I really hope he does something in the film, maybe like a slight subliminal message about Spider-Verse, or Doctor Strange says some joke to Spider-Man or something.
Right.
I mean, if that happened in Doctor Strange 2, could you imagine if we just saw him going into like different realities and he sees like different Spider-Man? You're like,
that'd be awesome.
He's like, oh, sorry, you're not the Spider-Man I'm looking for. Even that would be awesome. Like,
yeah, I think what I would like to see them do is like, maybe this is not exactly how. Oh, I know. Okay, I've thought about this. I don't know about Tobey or Tom. The way I'd like to see Andrew show up is in the Spider-Verse film. They continue that Rhino fight from the end of Amazing Spider-Man 2. I think that'd be that. I think that's what I would want for them to do for Andrew. Like maybe you finally see him like the second half, like after he swings the manhole cover, you see Rhino getting hit with it. I think that'd be cool. Introducing Tobey, I think.
It just comes through and he's like, I'm gonna put some dirt in your eye.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
This is off topic, but have you seen the Tobey in the MCU?
I have. Yes,
so
I'm
good,
subscribed to it. I'm subscribed to it.
It's so good.
That'd be awesome.
It's not happening if that was your multiverse thing.
Yeah, I think you just have Doctor Strange show up and you like do like a zoom out and you like focus in on Tobey. That'd be the best thing. Nerdy Films, what's your fan cast for a Green Lantern movie? It depends if we're talking Hal Jordan, Jon Stewart. I think if we're doing Hal Jordan, I'd go maybe. I don't know. What would you say? I need to think.
I remember reading a fan cast for him actually, and this was obviously after the Ryan Reynolds thing. And someone said Armie Hammer.
That's a good one. That is a good one.
Like I mean, I watched the Man from U.N.C.L.E. and I didn't actually realize it was him that was like the Russian guy. I actually thought this guy's like a Russian actor, and then I realized when Armie Hammer, and I was like, oh my god, he's got the physique, and I can imagine him playing Hal Jordan, and he's definitely got the acting ability. So it'll be cool to see that.
I think I'd go. Armie Hammer's a good one. I could see. No, I couldn't see that.
There's definitely
I just have one. Oh, if we're doing Jon Stewart, I think depending on how Tenet goes, I could see John David Washington doing it.
Oh, he is so good. Like I've loved him since he's made his debut in films, and he's just great.
So it depends on who we're talking about, but there are some good ones that come to mind. Mega Fan, what's a movie you loved the first time and didn't like it the second / on later viewings? I know a bunch of answers to like the vice versa of that, but I think that I didn't like. I'd probably go Homecoming. Like I still liked it, but it wasn't just like I didn't love it as much as I did the first time around. Because the first time I just want to see like if it's good, if it's bad. I didn't really notice all too many problems with it. The second, third, fourth, I think I've seen it 5 times. That's when I started to say, this is noticeable. So maybe Homecoming, but I have a bunch of answers if you were the vice versa that. What about you?
I think when I saw Transformers the last night, I was just like, oh, it's not a bad film. It was okay. But then watching it second time on Netflix, online, I was like, I was a bit. I could see things I didn't notice the first time, and I think I didn't like it as much.
Right.
Wednesday's a bad film, but like it just wasn't as good as I first time.
Yeah. Tommy, sorry you got ahead out by. See you, man. Thanks for joining. Ginger Cat, would you be interested in seeing a Back to the Future reboot?
Oh, I don't. I think that's just a trilogy you don't want to touch. Like it was so great on its own. I'd rather see a sequel than a reboot.
That's true. Yeah, like what they're doing with Honey I Shrunk the Kids. They're like keeping them in the same universe, just new cast, new everybody. I think maybe kind of. It depends on who they cast. It depends on who they cast. Oopsie. Movies like Spider-Man 3 and The Last Jedi are movies with a lot of lows and highs, but I do think that the highs are really more important. That's why I think these two are pretty good. I love Spider-Man 3. I'll defend that movie till the end of time.
I still think people hate on the thing about them with Venom. I understand what they mean is throwing a lot of villains, but I think it's cool that they had the Venom thing going on with Sandman, and then Osborn's obviously helping Harry in the end. I quite like that. And people saying
that scene with Harry, man. There are probably like 3 comic book films that have been able to make me cry. Spider-Man 3 is one of them.
I hate that scene, man. That's probably like the first like part in a superhero movie which I actually like got teary and I just got sad. Like it's so horrible to see him go like that.
It's so and when I don't exactly cry, but like when he forgives Sandman, that just hits hard.
Also, like bittersweet. It's like damn, like it's just me. And despite what he's gone through, and like Uncle Ben thing, like he's just so like forgiving. Like that's the one thing about Spider-Man as well, and it's just it's touching in that way.
I still think I guess way too much hate.
Yeah, I agree.
Last Jedi, on the other hand, it's understandable, but I do like it. I do like it. It's not a bad movie.
Yeah.
Max Talks Movies. What are your thoughts on all the titles leaving HBO Max? I think it's pretty stupid. What about you?
The thing is, if DC are planning on making like a streaming service just for DC films, I mean, it would only work if they get the rights off all the publishers that have published their films. But in that sense, it is dumb because I think HBO Max has like pretty much all of it anyway. So I don't understand why they're doing that now. Like, it's just like it's not a great time for them to do that. Like, they should just be focusing on the films and like leaving the titles where they are rather than moving everything and
right. JK, what titles are leaving HBO Max? And then Max says a lot of the DC films. It's a lot of the DC films. I know what was it? I'm blanking on the name. I can't remember it. Was it Gone with the Wind? I don't think it was. It was another like classic film. I don't know why I'm blanking on his name, but it's like one big, very big classic film that's leaving. It's stupid. Yeah, like JK is saying, that's so stupid. Right as people were comparing HBO Max and Netflix, I know even the launch was kind of rough because I still don't think it's available on Roku or Fire. Was it Fire Stick? I think those are like 2 big platforms. I don't know why they're not on there. So I can't even get HBO Max because I have a Roku, but it was a rough start, and now with all of this, I can't see it being talked about as like one of the best ones. Max Talks Movies, HBO Max may be there in like 2 years, but it's definitely not that great at the moment. Totally agree. I can't believe they don't have Man of Steel on there, and that they have the theatrical edition of BVS, which is horrible. But like the Ultimate Edition is so much better. It is. I'm so glad I have the Blu-ray. I'm so glad I have the Ultimate Edition, so I don't have to watch the theatrical one. Tommy, I don't have HBO. Oh, thanks for joining back in, Tommy. I don't have HBO. I was literally thinking when they announced Disney Plus that they should make a Warner Bros. Streaming service. That's what pretty much everybody is trying to do. I don't like that. I want them to. I miss the days when it was just like all the like Netflix had Marvel movies, DC movies, Paramount movies. That was like the best time. So
it was like it's just all in one place. Like now you have to worry about buying so many different streaming services for different things. It is a bit annoying.
Yeah, it's like $15 for Netflix, then it's like $13 for the bundle with Disney and Hulu and ESPN. There's Apple TV Plus is like $5. HBO Max is $15. It's so much money. I don't have that much.
Yeah,
so I can't get
it's like I haven't seen certain TV shows or films or like Defending Jacob. It's just like it's all in different places, but I definitely need to see that.
Mm-hmm. I can see it being there, or that was like the previous one, but. No, I don't think Paramount, if you're listening, do not make your own service, please.
I was thinking it's not a good idea for them.
Mega fan, certain if you hate Fantastic Beasts 1, 2 may kill you. I've heard
films like I think if you're comparing it to Harry Potter, I mean, yeah, you're like it's not quite Harry Potter, but it's still set in the universe,
right?
And it's like set way before Harry Potter, so like, yeah, I think maybe the deeper you go into it might get better. So hopefully you might grow on you in that way.
Right. I think I've seen like I pretty much know what happens in the movie because I've seen. I don't know if you watch. If anybody in the stream, I don't know if you guys watch Cosmonaut Variety Hour. I think I watched their video on it and it was like a full like why it sucks. It does seem very bad and I pretty much know what happens. I don't know if I'll overwatch it. Maybe before 3 comes out, but that's thanks for letting me know. JK, okay, this is just my opinion, but the Mission Impossible movies are overrated. I would rank them 1 Fallout, 2 Ghost Protocol, 3 Mission Impossible 1, 4 Mission Impossible 3, 5 Mission Impossible 2, 6 Rogue Nation. I much disagree.
I think Fallout was definitely the best one. Like
that's pretty much.
I like all the others, Ghost Protocol, but I think Tom Cruise really set the tone with his stunts in the latest one. It was so good.
It was incredible. I disagree 100%. I think they're not overrated. I would say they're better than Bond, but that's a completely different discussion. I don't think Rogue Nation is the worst one. I think 2 is the worst one. And I think 3 is pretty underrated. That's probably my 3rd place. But I mean, if you think they're overrated, maybe they just don't work for you, and that's fine. JK, I have been very disappointed with Disney Plus. It's had nothing great, especially since all the stuff I own, like all the MCU and Star Wars movies. I think you just give it this has been like a weird gray area these past couple of months because they had Mandalorian and then they ended that in December. And then January, February, March, April, May, June. This has been like a weird gray area for them. I think you wait until like August, you let Falcon and Winter Soldier come out, and then you let that come out, and then they're really going to start picking up the pace because then
I feel like Disney Plus will be as good as Netflix was when it was really good in like 1 to 2 years. Like from what they're going to release, Marvel is going to take over that platform, and they'll just then add on more to it, and then maybe do some the Disney shows we loved as kids. Like they're planning on doing like sequels to that and all those exclusives. So I think it's just gotta give it time. Like.
Yeah, you give it time. You give it Mandalorian season 2 comes out. You wait until Obi-Wan. You wait until Cassian Andor. You wait for WandaVision. You wait for some of their remakes of Fox properties like Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Home Alone, Cheaper by the Dozen, Night of the Museum. They've got a lot of stuff in the works. So you give them time. I think the launching area is always the weakest for streaming services. Max Talks Movies says, biggest improvement from a movie to its sequel. What would you say for that?
Oh, actually, well, I know it's technically the 3rd film in the trilogy, but the jump from Dark World to Ragnarok was very impressive. Like
that's a
good jump. The worst film in the MCU at the time to pretty much one of the best films in the MCU.
Yeah,
like, wow, that actual difference is.
I'd go maybe staying in the MCU realm. I think. Even though I don't dislike First Avenger, I actually love it. The First Avenger to Winter Soldier.
Oh yeah,
That's a big jump right
really
there.
raised the bar as well.
And then because I think the first Avengers is overrated, Avengers 1 to Age of Ultron. That's just me though. That's just me. So even though that's not a huge improvement, I think I might have to go the Cap to Winter Soldier or Dark World to Ragnarok. That's what I'd go. We're not too behind, so we're doing pretty good. Max talks movies. Spider-Verse 2 opening line. I had to beat an old lady with a stick. That would be pure perfection. It really would. It really would if that was the opening line. I think. I mean, there's no way to really predict what the opening line would be, but I'm really excited for Spider-Verse 2. Are you excited for it?
It's gonna be awesome, man. Like it's so different to the other films. Like I think I mean, I really hope they do more than just 3. I think they can definitely build on it and explore different things about it. And I mean, obviously, Miles Morales he's actually a very new character into the whole Marvel world.
Yeah, very new. Yeah,
in the comics, I think he was only created like maybe
this past decade.
Yeah, pretty much. So
yeah,
it's crazy thinking that way. How much we can explore, because Miles Morales is like, comparing him to Peter Parker, he's got a long way to go with different versions.
Yeah, I think what I think that they do, like besides like I think they do the second movie, and what I'm hoping is that because it seems to be like 4 years between the Spider-Verse 1 and Spider-Verse 2, 2018 to 2022. I think because by 2026 you will have had the third Spider-Man movie, obviously, in the MCU. You will have probably had Spider-Man show up in that second team up film that is on the contract, and then after that, because a live action Spider-Verse would be Sony property because they own Spider-Man. I think 2026 is what I'm hoping is the live action Spider-Verse. That's what I'm thinking right now.
I think that is the most logical way of seeing it, because by then they would have had Avengers 5. They would have concluded Tom Holland's version of the character. Then he'll probably be in the Venomverse, because they're trying to get him in the Venomverse. Or however they do it. He's definitely going to be in Spider-Verse. The live action one, they have to bring back the other Spideys as well. It just has to happen.
Have to. There's no point in doing it if they don't bring back the other ones.
This is building up to that. Like they just have
it pretty much is. This is their Avengers. This is their Avengers, and this is going to make $2 billion. I guarantee you that.
You know what? In the way that Endgame was such a big event, I feel like bringing all the Spider-Mans together is like in some ways as big as Endgame, because this is something people wanted from like day one. Like we want to see all the Spider-Mans together, but all the live action versions. That would be so freaking cool. Like all of them turning out.
If in like Spider-Verse 2, if they're able to make cameos to like the TV shows like Spectacular in the 90s, that would be so amazing.
That would be awesome if they did that.
And that live action movie, that would be like a rare occasion of like uniting an entire fan base, because there's nobody that can dislike this movie. There's nobody. If you dislike Tom Holland, you probably like Raimi or Andrew or Webb. So you have that. If you dislike Webb, you have Tom and Toby. It's just you please everybody.
It could be so great because not only will please everyone, but like they can have that on-screen chemistry where they like compare each other. Like I'm a better Spider-Man than you, and it's like like, Tobey Maguire's saying, "Sit down, kid," to like Tom Holland because he's like obviously much younger, and it's like that banter they have. Like you're the little bro out of us. They can definitely make it like really funny. So I can't wait to see them together.
Yeah, I think you bring back Sam Raimi to direct it. That's what I would want.
100%, yeah,
that's what I would want. Where were we at? Oopsie. Do you like Far From Home? I see that it is in the last place on your Letterboxd list of Spider-Man movies. Well, judging by that, no, but I do. I don't dislike it. I think it's. I think it's fine. It's not a horrible movie. I think it was initially I liked it better than Homecoming. Second watch, I really liked it. And then after that, I was just like, I don't know about this. So I think I've seen it like 4 or 5 times. Yeah. It's at the bottom, but I'm not saying it's like horrible. What about you? Do you like Far From Home?
I only saw it funny enough on my birthday last year, because it was premiere night was on my birthday, so I was quite lucky because it's coming out the 2nd of July. But in the UK, they were in the midnight releases. I was like, thank God I can watch my birthday. And I watched it once, but I haven't watched it since. But I would like to rewatch it. I was hoping it was on Disney Plus, but I'm just gonna have to buy it because obviously the whole Sony rights, they can't exactly do that.
Right. I own every Spider-Man movie because I have to. I am a Spider-Man fan, so I have to. But I don't dislike it. It's fine. Max talks movies. Favorite non-Dark Knight trilogy Batman film. Ooh, I think I've been asked this before. I'd maybe go Batman 89, but maybe not.
Yeah, one was definitely for me the one that shined the most out of the others. It was great.
I'd go Lego Batman movie. That's my pick.
Oh, that one was interesting. That was funny.
I love that one.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to do that, and I lost everything. I know. I think Lego Batman movie is probably behind. That's probably like my top 3. I'd go Dark Knight. I'd go Dark Knight, Batman Begins, and Lego Batman movie. I'd even put it above Rises. I know Trevor wouldn't agree with me, but I'd put it above Rises. I love that movie. So besides Dark Knight trilogy, I'd go Lego Batman. John Marshall, I haven't seen any of the major spy movies like Mission Impossible or John Wick trilogy. What do you think I should watch? I never thought I would like them because I just don't care for spy stuff.
Dude,
I think
watch them.
Exactly. I think out of the ones you mentioned, I think it's easier to go through John Wick because it's less films. I think I do like Mission Impossible more, so go Mission Impossible. Watch both of those. Those both are amazing.
John Wick and Mission Impossible. You gotta do all of them, son.
Exactly. You gotta maybe go back to some of the Transporters with Jason Statham. Kind of spy movies. What else can I remember? Hobbs and Shaw, kind of. Not really, but
Hobbs and Shaw's kind of got that vibe to it. I mean, it's like a action comedy. So yeah, I mean, in that sense, it does work. It's kind of like Get Smart or like Johnny English. If you haven't watched that, it's definitely worth it.
I do like Johnny English. That's good.
It's really good. I think the third one is a bit. It was just good for the funny parts, but it was a mess other than that.
Right. So definitely, I can understand not caring for spy stuff, but definitely watch it. Jake A, I don't know why. I just think Mission Impossible 2 is so bad. It's funny. I haven't watched Mission Impossible in probably.
I need to rewatch the 1, 2, and 3 because it's been a very long time, so I can't even remember what exactly happens. I mean, I can remember the first one, but not the second one as much.
I haven't seen 1 in a long time. I haven't seen 2 in a long time, which is weird because I own 1. I own all of them. I just don't own 2. I need to rewatch 2. I rewatched 3 last year, and I still really, really like it. I think that's pretty underrated. So I'd have to rewatch it to comment on its funny part. Mega fans got to head out. Nice stream. Thanks for that, man. Okay, Max Talks Movies. Paramount does have their own streaming service called Epix. I have heard of that. I don't have that.
I'm surprised.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I didn't even know that was Paramount, but interesting. Jake A. Cassie and Andor show sound like the most stupid idea ever. Disney needs to stop milking out this period of Star Wars and just do a Star Wars project that isn't in the Skywalker saga time period. I think that's what they're maybe kind of going for with Cassie and Andor being the one person they decided to make a show about. But I do agree they need to leave the Skywalker saga alone. I
think, it's the last 3 films. I mean, let's be honest, they've been milking it for money and just for the fans, which is fair enough. 7 was great. The other 2 weren't great, but I think they're trying to focus on. Is it the Old Republic?
Yes, so that's what they're going for.
Yeah, so they're like going away from all the Skywalker stuff, which is like a new era, which would be quite nice.
Yeah,
it's just ran its course now. Like we got to see something fresh and different.
Exactly. Will you guys be picking up the PlayStation 5? Certain vids they have said that all PlayStation exclusives that are released on PS5 won't be available on previous consoles. So that means that Spider-Man Miles Morales. I definitely will be.
Oh, PS5 is definitely on my wanted list. it's going to cost so much, of course, at launch. So it's either I just save so much money up and be smart, or I just gotta wait.
I think I probably need to start saving up. I might, even though I'm still kind of iffy on the whole digital edition because I'm a physical media guy.
Hmm.
I might just end up buying that one if it's like significantly cheaper. So
It probably will be because, like, I think
yeah,
people will. I mean, I think the way they will sort of catch you out is like they might make digital editions like maybe more pricey, but I hope that's not the case. I hope they just understand like not everyone has so much money like that, and just be a bit more
yeah,
fair pricing. I really hope if it's like £200 cheaper than the normal, I might even get the digital.
right. I think for me to get the digital edition, it would have to be at least $200 cheaper. I
Hmm.
think it would have to be at least 200 for me to get the digital. But I will be picking up PS5 just to play Miles Morales. I'm so excited for that. that was like the one top. That and Horizon Forbidden West. Those were like my two big
Horizon
pops.
look really good.
Horizon looks. The first one is just so stunning to look at, and this with like the new PlayStation 5 engine and everything, it's just it looks amazing. I am so excited for Horizon.
Yeah.
That really got me, and the way they like started, like kind of they practically started it off with Spider-Man. I didn't know what I was watching. Like I didn't know what I was watching at first.
So crazy. I didn't know it was that either. Like I was like,
Yeah,
what?
and then and then I heard and then I saw like a little bit of the mask, and I heard Yuri Lowenthal's voice, and I was like, oh, this is Spider-Man, and I
Yeah.
lost it. I lost it. It was so awesome. And then they
Oh,
showed, and they're reusing the locations from the first game because I've seen screenshots from the first game, but they're adding snow, and that looks so cool. And they've been saying it's pretty much a standalone game. There's enough in this to pretty much consider. I don't know if there's there. It's not a remaster. I'm still kind of confused as to what it is. I just want to play it so bad. I just want to play it so bad because I love that first PS4 game is probably in my top 5 of all time. I'm serious.
it's such a great game. Like, do you know what the crazy thing is? That Miles Morales game isn't even the second Spider-Man game. That is like a separate story. Then they're going to do the second Spider-Man game. So, I mean, if we get an announcement for Spider-Man 2 right after the Miles Morales one's released, I mean, people are going to go crazy. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm really excited. Um, Max talks movies. No spoilers, but did you hear about the No Time to Die leaks? I'm lucky enough to not have seen them. I did not hear about them. I haven't. I haven't seen them. JK's saying there have been leaks. Why did you say something now? I'll have to force myself to avoid them. LOL.
That always happens.
Yeah, pretty much. I haven't heard anything about them. I don't think I will. I don't think I will. Probably like go to anywhere that should have them. But yes, I will maybe have to avoid them now. What PS5 exclusive are you most excited for besides Spider-Man? Horizon. That's easily Horizon for me.
I think it's me either. I mean, Spider-Man is definitely on that. I actually have. I made an Insta post on this, but I'm gonna have to choose out of the. I put like 8 of them. Well, this game Oddworld, I used to play it as a child, and like they brought it back, but now it's like a 3D 4K version of it. But it's not. It's a sequel, and it's like a puzzle game. But like they've just got like a big story to now, so I'm like really excited for that. Maybe the Sackboy game because I was a very big fan of Little Big Planet 1 and 2, and then 3 was kind of going downhill. But it's so hard to choose.
It is.
I'm quite a big Resident Evil fan as well, so I mean I was hyped for that.
There's just that, some people are saying the stream was underwhelming. I can see why, but there was enough in it to keep me engaged. I think you start off with Morales.
Great.
Yeah, and then the reveal of the actual PlayStation 5. That was really cool.
That was amazing.
I think so. Yeah, for me, it's probably Horizon. JK, Austin Powers. Yeah, I can't believe I forgot Austin Powers. That's another one you should probably watch. AO, have you guys played The Last of Us? Have you seen the reviews for the new one? I've seen the reviews. They're very.
I played the first one, but I read the leaks about Last of Us 2, and I'm not going to say them because if you guys haven't read them, but let's just say whoever was behind the idea and the story of the game for the second one, I didn't. From what I read, it was so bad. It was like For the Dark World, maybe worse. Captain Marvel bad. It was like honestly, I was so disappointed when I read it because these aren't fake leaks or anything. This is legit. It came from someone that worked on the game, and I think he left the project, and then he just started exposing what they were doing, and then Inverse.com posted the actual news about it, and loads of other sites. If you really want to read it before you buy the game, I actually recommend, because I don't want people wasting their pre-orders and wasting like $50-$60 on the game. That's just not going to be that good. Like, I love the game, but from what I read, the game is good.
The reviews have been very positive from what I'm reading, but now from what you're saying, I probably won't still read the leaks, but I'm interested to see how the audience reacts to it. When's the release date again? I keep forgetting the release date.
I think it's supposed to be this month, right?
It's this month? Okay. So, yeah, just a little bit longer to see. Don't buy the digital edition, man. Plus, if you don't have a 4K player, the PS5 could be used as a 4K player, which is going to be nice. I do have a 4K player, so I can't really buy it for that reason. But the only way I'd buy the digital edition if it's like $200 cheaper. So, yeah, that's really the only reason. Max Talks Movies, how much do you think the PS5 will be? Dollars, maybe. If we're talking like disc reader, I could see it being like 700. It's maybe possible. What are you saying? What are you thinking? I'm thinking 600-700.
It's gonna be. I don't think they're gonna rip people off and do 700. I feel like they're gonna have to be reasonable. 500 to 600, I'm expecting. I mean, they're still very expensive, but I just don't see them doing it anymore because it's just too much otherwise.
Yeah, that's true. I'm thinking like 600, maybe a little bit less. They're just waiting. Xbox and PS5. They just want to see what the other price is so they can undercut it.
Oh my God, Xbox. Have you seen the design for the Xbox?
I think I have. It's
basically a fridge. Like
it's very.
It's like, what is this? It's like a box, literally. Like, I know the name Xbox is there, but the consoles never look bad. Like, I don't know what they've done with this one.
Right.
It almost looks like an Amazon product, like a type Alexa type product or a new one. You know, it doesn't look like a game console. It's crazy.
I think I don't like the design. I think the design's very basic. I think the PlayStation 5 looks way better.
It looks so futuristic. It's mad.
It's really, really cool. Big A, I think the PlayStation 5 is supposed to be same price as PS4 at launch. I haven't heard anything about that, but if so, I am so down because that's pretty cheap. I think.
How much was the PS4 launch? Is that 500?
I think it was like 400 or 500. Let me just check.
Oh my God, that's
PS4 launch price was.
Yeah, I would probably be able to buy it at launch if it's 400. I'll definitely be able to do that.
It was 400.
Wow, if it's 400, that would be good. I mean, I can't imagine it being 600. It means if they do it at 400, then digital edition would be like maybe £100 less, or with you, $100 less, which would be great.
Mm-hmm. If that's true, I'm totally down. Max Talks Movies, weirdest YouTube comment you've gotten. I've gotten some pretty weird ones.
I would say mine is probably like, you know, those fake bots that come on and says,
yeah, that's what I was thinking. There's one YouTube channel that keeps on commenting, and it always shows up in my held for review. A nice upload and up and load are separate. Thanks for sharing. That keeps on showing up. So
I got another one on one of my other videos, and it literally was. So I was on the held for review, and that was just bots and spam. And then on the last section, I think that actually, I don't know if that's a spam one or not. But someone just said you're fucking stupid, and it didn't. And it was on my Doom Eternal reaction. I was just like, this guy. I don't know why he's called me stupid. I mean, I didn't know what I said in the video. I just didn't pay attention to it. But I was like, if I read that comment, I would have been like, "What the fuck are you on about?" Like, okay. I just deleted it, and it just never went through anyway. So I just found that funny.
Right. It's probably some of those spots for me. Let's try to go a little bit faster because I want to get to some of the Instagram questions too. I believe PlayStation have said that Miles Morales is a standalone game, but it won't be a full-fledged game, so more like a DLC. They may end up releasing a remastered version of Spider-Man anyway. They probably will, unless everything in Spider-Man is in Miles Morales. In that case, I don't see them doing it. But yeah, if it is a standalone game, I want there to be enough for it to be like, I don't know how to put it, but like it needs to be enough to kind of consider it its own game, even if it has everything that the first one did. But I'm excited for it either way. Like it could be a DLC and I'd still buy it. So I think I have the DLC. I don't think I've ever played it though. The original one, the CD that never sleeps. I think I have that. I don't think I've ever played through it though. So yeah. Max Talks Movies. What are some of your favorite murder mystery movies besides Knives Out?
Ooh,
Because murder
Knives Out
mystery.
is pretty good. I think that was the most recent mystery
Yeah.
type film I've seen.
Because murder mystery is my favorite genre, so I'm trying to think, but I can't think of any. If we're talking just straight up mystery,
I need some reminders. There's definitely a few good films I've seen that were like very mystery orientated. I'm just trying to.
I think maybe The Prestige. That has a very mysterious
I don't think
little.
I haven't watched that, so I need to check that
Definitely,
out.
I love that movie. I think that's Nolan's most underrated. I think that's definitely worth watching.
Oh god, there's definitely one or two. I'm gonna have to look at my watched or something because I have seen one or two on Netflix not that long ago, and they were very good films. Like
Right.
maybe not Knives Out level, but they still hold up pretty well.
Right. The release of The Last of Us 2 is coming this Friday. Cool. I just want to see where the audience sits after what you said. JK.
I was a very big fan of the first game. It was such a great game. Like I love the characters as well, the way they did it. Nothing was wrong with that game, and honestly, like Last of Us 2, what I read, it's just what are they doing?
Maybe reading it, maybe it's different. Maybe playing through it will be a better
hope
experience.
not what I read because the leaks, it wasn't fake, so there was like evidence as well. So I'm just like, I mean, if it happens and you buy the game, like you'll know exactly what I mean. And I mean, I don't want people to waste their money, but then if people really want to see what happens instead, then yeah, of course, you're just gonna have to find out that way. But
Yeah.
so disappointed I read it.
No Time to Die looks great, and it should be because all the odd numbered Craig movies are great. I'm just resending this comment. Sadly, certain fans didn't think too highly of Casino Royale. It's a 4.5 out of 5. Yeah, for me, it's not that good as everybody says. I'd give it maybe I think it'd probably be around a 7 out of 10. So that'd be what?
Not bad.
3.5. It's not. Yeah, I just don't. I think it's very overrated.
I think most people like Skyfall the most, or maybe Spec.
Mm-hmm. And I've never finished Skyfall. I've only like seen like an hour of it, so I should probably rewatch that. I'd say the maximum the PS5 will be is 600 because Sony messed up when the PS3 released because they priced that at 600. I can see it definitely being 600. I don't see them going over. Max Talks Movies. Casino Royale is a 5 out of 5, and it's the best Bond film, and I've seen all 26. That's what a lot of people say. I highly disagree. I haven't seen all the Bond films, but I think Casino Royale is pretty overrated. Imagine a video game where at the end it cuts to black and then says written and directed by Quentin Tarantino. That would be like the best review ever.
Imagine.
It would be amazing. I don't think we'll ever get that though.
That'd be crazy.
I do think Tarantino's like a very good writer though. I know we all are hyped for Tenet, but do you think they should wait until it is properly safe for its release?
I mean, they have to. I mean, we could be safe end of July. I mean, it's not going to clear up like quickly.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll have it around, but I mean, for us to fully be safe and get back to doing things, I really hope Tenet doesn't get delayed anymore. I mean, was Wonder Woman to get pushed back to October now. It's only 2 months, and it just gives it a little bit more time for things to really clear out. Like Black Widow, it's November. We've got another 5 months till then, and that's definitely going to be in cinemas, and everything will be normal by then, hopefully. Tenet's it's just based on the luck, and if things can really get pushed out quicker, and it's just all about how it goes down,
Right. I think Where were we at? Yeah, Tenet. I think it probably still won't be like 100% safe, but I think if it's like enough where you can just like go through it without like still retaining your safety, I think that's probably the best time to release it. It's not like it's not a question of like it won't make money right now because every screen will be playing Tenet. That's like the only movie out.
It's going to make a lot of money just based on the fact people will be back in the cinema and just
Yeah.
wanting to watch it. And of course, Christopher Nolan.
Right. Last couple of questions we'll take, and then we'll get to the film stock questions, and then we'll end it. The Last of Us is also confirmed to have an HBO TV show adaptation, which will start shooting after the virus is over. And apparently, Hugh Jackman will play Joel, and Millie Bobby Brown will play Ellie.
Oh,
I have heard of that. I think that's good casting.
That would work very well.
I'm excited. Yeah, that's part of their like what they're doing with PlayStation said like a long time ago. They're like trying to adapt their video games into films and TV shows, which is obviously why there's an Uncharted film coming. And Last of Us, there are some video games that would bode well to television rather than film. I think Last of Us, I'm really excited for that show. Favorite non-superhero TV show? That's a good one.
I'm guessing that's technically superhero still.
For me, it's probably if we're including like everything, it's an animated show. I'd go regular show from Cartoon Network. I remember I used to watch that show all the time. It's on Hulu right now. Every time I watch it, I laugh so hard. That show is probably one of the funniest shows I've ever seen. Even though it's an animated show, I'd probably go regular show. If we're going like non-animated, I honestly can't think of one. Because like my favorite animated show of all time is probably Spectacular Spider-Man, and the thing I love about that so much is that at times it doesn't even feel like an animated show. It just feels like a live action show that you would watch on like, I don't know, ABC or Netflix. So I don't have too many picks for live action, but favorite
non. What do you think about Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
I don't think I've seen that.
You haven't?
I have not seen that.
Quick wit type of humor. I think you would love that.
Right.
I say animated, like, it technically is a TV show. Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
It's just so addictive, and like I think it gets better as you watch it. And like, I still need to catch up on season 4, but it's a very good show if you haven't checked it out. And if you're like a Marvel fan or you like comic books, they play a lot of logic from that and those types of universes. So like, you would definitely understand what's going on, and you would enjoy it.
Right. Yeah, I need to add that to my watch list. Eli Taylor, what's your favorite comedy minus Shaun of the Dead? What would you say is your favorite comedy? Because I need to think about this.
That is a very good question.
Yeah.
Selection, like, some films. I think for me, I love comedies, but like I love action comedies even more because
that's true.
I mean, action's probably my favorite genre. So this is difficult. I mean, I'm trying to think what I've gone on recently. I mean, Hangover was a really good film. I don't know if it's like top for me. Like, I wouldn't say it's my favorite. I'm really trying to remember a film where I generally like couldn't stop laughing throughout.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to think of, and I can't really. Even though it's not a comedy, the first Raimi Spider-Man film, it's really, really funny. Even though it's like
there are funny bits in them, yeah.
And it was all like some people say it's like unintentionally funny because it's very dated. I think like a lot of the cheesiness is like Raimi's type of humor, so it's like intentionally funny. I can't really think of a one that just really makes me laugh. I was just talking about Regular Show. That's a show that consistently makes me laugh.
I don't know if I could say this is my favorite, but I really did like it. The interview with James Franco. Seth Rogen. I giggled at that a few times, like after rewatching it, and it holds up pretty well.
I just thought of one. Jojo Rabbit. That was a really funny movie. It got to me so much. Rabbit.
Like,
you still have to see it?
Yeah, I have to. I was actually so unfortunate. So this was before the virus and everything. There was an actual viewing in London, and Taika Waititi was actually in attendance for a Q&A. So I was going to book my ticket, but I was too late and all the tickets were sold out. So I didn't end up going, which sucked because if I went to see the film, then ask him about the film, it would have been awesome. And
yeah, that would be cool. Because I know you did that with Todd Phillips. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like it was at a different cinema, but like sucks because like I've been to the venue before and I've been to the X-Men thing, and like this was not even invite only. It's just like you go to the cinema and you buy a ticket. It's like that.
Oh wow.
It's just luck. Like you just gotta make sure you're there at the right time, you know.
Right. Max Talks Movies. Got to go. I'll watch the replay. Thanks for joining, man. You were in here for a while.
Okay, yeah, man.
Regular Show is one of the most deeply philosophical shows I've ever seen. Yeah, to some extent, I could agree with that. John Marshall, AO, if you like that philosophical stuff, you should try Midnight Gospels by one of the guys behind Adventure Time. Basically, it's a podcast that got animated. The guy interviews different people in it. I'm not sure if that's an animated show or if that's a live action one. I do remember Adventure Time. I was never big on it, though. That was one of my favorites.
I absolutely loved Adventure Time. I think it was like a little bit too kiddie for me.
Yeah.
That's probably why I didn't get into it.
Yeah, I think why I like Regular Show so much, it's like it can get some it gets kind of edgy, to be honest. And there's some stuff that I can't believe they passed that for a children's show on Cartoon Network. But I might check on Midnight Gospel. We do have 3 questions from Chris from Filmstocked. Number 1 is, have you seen the editor's cut of Spider-Man 3? That would be Spider-Man 3.1, I think it was called. I don't think I have. Have you seen it?
Nah, I haven't either.
I haven't heard anything about it. I have seen Spider-Man 2.1, which is the extended edition of Spider-Man 2, which I do like better because it's like a little bit more funnier. And that's the one I own. Well, I own both technically on Blu-ray. It's like part of the same disc. So Spider-Man 3, I don't think I might have to, because what I did was when I first bought the Spider-Man 2 disc, I watched number 1, or well, when I watched it, I watched the original movie. I don't know how. It just like didn't ask me, I guess, for or maybe it did, and I just clicked like regular Spider-Man 2. But then when I watched it on that disc again, I clicked on the extended edition. So maybe next time I watch it on the Spider-Man 3 on its Blu-ray disc, maybe Spider-Man 3.1 is included in that. So I might watch it then. She also asked, would you rather see an Amazing Spider-Man 3 or Spider-Man 4? That's very tough because
that is tougher than the last Spider-Man question we had, because that was a clear choice with the Spider-Verse. Yeah. I'd like for them to. Well, they completed the Raimi trilogy technically, so I think Amazing Spider-Man 3, because like I always wanted them to just finish it before obviously unforeseen happened, but like.
And that's part of why I think a live-action Spider-Verse would work so well. You give Andrew Garfield that second chance, because I do think he was the best Spider-Man we've had in live action. He's not my favorite, but that's the one I think was the best. It's tough for me because what they were trying to do with Amazing Spider-Man 3, I wasn't exactly a fan of. They were thinking about resurrecting Gwen Stacy and Captain Stacy, and I was like, I don't know if that's going to work. But maybe if you change it around, I'd like to see Amazing Spider-Man 3. Because the thing with Spider-Man 4 is that people say it wasn't the conclusion Raimi wanted, and it wasn't. I think they were supposed to go to like Spider-Man 6. So
yeah. That would have been interesting though, because we would have seen a lot of the villains, and I've been quite satisfied with that, to be fair.
But I still think it's a good conclusion. I still think Spider-Man 3, even though you don't get that closure with Peter and MJ, it's a good ending. I like the ending
on a bittersweet note. So like, in the way they did Endgame, like, you know, I mean, they closed. That was a different deal. Like, but the way they dealt with like Tony, for example, like they ended it on the funeral and everything. Like, yeah, Spider-Man 3 had that same sort of feeling, and you went out of the cinema feeling, yeah, this is like, he's gonna still be Spider-Man, but if there is another film, then we might see what happens. But it made sense. Like, he's lost so much, and then losing his best friend sort of cut the slate. It's like, all right, that's it. I think that's the story there. Like, he's lost so much, and you can't lose any more, you know?
Yeah, so I'd probably go Amazing Spider-Man 3, surprisingly enough. because I do love the amazing movies. And then the final question we had, I think, was favorite Blu-ray you own. I don't think you own too many Blu-rays, so it might not be that hard for you. What would you say is your favorite?
I mean, I'm already looking at one of them. I think the Las Vegas. I don't know if you've seen that.
I don't think I have.
It's Michael Douglas, Morgan Freeman, Robert De Niro. Basically, there's some friends who reunite for a bachelor party, and they go to Vegas, and they're like all in their 60s and 70s, and it's just really funny seeing them together, and they do it really well. So that's probably my favorite Blu-ray that I own.
Out of the ones I own, which is quite a bit, I might go. If we're talking about like appearance-wise, it's probably going to be a Steelbook. I'd go out of the ones I have. Maybe the Skyfall Steelbook. That's one that I do like, even though I've never finished the movie. I do like that Steelbook. I like the Spider-Man Homecoming Steelbook that I have. That's pretty cool. If we're talking movie-wise, yeah, if we're talking movie-wise, I do own 4 out of my top 5 favorite movies of all time, which I'm not going to reveal, obviously, at the moment. But so I do have my favorite movies on Blu-ray. But if we're talking just like appearance-wise, I might go that Spider-Man Homecoming Steelbook or the Shazam slipcover. That's like a lenticular, like swaps between Zachary Levi and Asher Angel. So it might be one of those. But if you don't have any more questions in the chat, that is going to be all the questions we are taking today. Thank you so much, everybody that stopped by. Do be sure to follow Shamoon on his Instagram, Twitter, and his channel. Everything is linked in the description box. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Thank you, Shamoon, for joining. It was super fun. We need to figure out that date when we record.
Yeah. Video. I mean, like, just let me know when you can do, and then we can work around that. Like, I'm pretty good for Wednesday if you can do then.
Wednesday should be, Wednesday should be good. We just need to figure out the right time, probably.
Yeah.
So, everybody watching, stay tuned for that video. And that's going to be it for the stream, guys. Thank you so much for sticking around. Let me just end the broadcast right here. Thank you for everybody that came around. I will see you in the next one. Until then, have a great rest of your day and stay positive.